98.5, the Sports Hub.
And, you look at Newcomb and Fitz, so we got to catch interference. Again, that's the third one now here in the Red Sox.
Yes, that is going to put Robert to first base. Sable got in the way. He'll be charged with an error. Minor out the base runner. Little ground ball. And a drop by Casas. No play at first. Everybody's safe. Trista took a look down to second. Tried to get the out there. He wound up getting nobody. That will be an E3.
Yeah.
So the Red Sox have committed 2 more errors in the game. That one slugged into center field by Taylor and over the head of Rafaela, who drops it after fielding it. Taylor churning into third, and he will stop there. And the Red Sox continue to be really sloppy defensively.
To me, there's really no need to try to barehand this ball. This is an easy double.
Here's Brooks Baldwin going up the middle. A ricochet off Winkowski. He'll underhand and can't make the play. Casas has it come free. All the way down to third goes Taylor. But that is ruled a base hit and an E1. That means the Red Sox have made 4 errors. On base 4 times in his major league debut.
Catcher interference.
Boy, another one. Wow, that's 5 Red Sox errors. The second catcher's interference in this game.
Second one against Robert.
That's happening too often for Red Sox catchers.
The 4th one of the year. It's the 15th game.
That was the Red Sox on Friday night. That's where we're going to start tonight on the Baseball Hour. That debacle on Friday night against the Chicago White Sox in Chicago. Yes, the same Chicago White Sox who lost 121 games last year. One of the worst teams in the history of the game. Took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox over the weekend in Chicago. 617-779-0984. 98.5. 617-779-0985 is your number here on the Baseball Hour. And let me get this out of the way quickly. I'm going to ask Jimmy Stewart this question because I do think when the Red Sox left town last week, they did so on the heels of a walk-off victory against the Toronto Blue Jays in which they won 3 out of 4. I'm sorry, the Blue Jays won 3 out of 4. Red Sox lost the first 3 games of the series, won the finale to avoid a sweep. Then they went to Chicago. And this to me, I want people to be honest. I'm asking those of you out there who watch the Red Sox over the weekend and are fans of the Red Sox. When the team lost the game on Friday night, 11-1 to the Chicago White Sox, I want you to tell me what your immediate and first impulse was. What was it? Because talk radio, as we know, has a, dare we say, sensationalistic element to it that can turn mountains or molehills into mountains and make bigger deals out of things than they really are. Then the Red Sox lost again on Saturday, and they went on Sunday. So it's easy to come out of the series in Chicago and say, well, they won the finale, so they're starting to play better, and we'll see what happens in Tampa. The reality is they lost 2 out of 3 to one of the worst teams in baseball. And I don't know about you, but Friday night was one of those games that when I clicked over and I saw it unraveling, and I will often disengage from the Friday night games, I'm being honest. After the entire week, I get to Friday night, I often disengage. And I'll follow the game on my phone. And when I saw it deteriorate into an 11-1 defeat to the Chicago White Sox, in which the Red Sox made 5 errors, I started to wonder exactly what kind of team we have here in Boston in 2025. It was that kind of loss. I looked at it and I started to question whether or not everything we believed about the Red Sox entering the season was false. Namely, that they were going to be good, they were going to be competitive, they could be in position by the trade deadline, go out and get some pitching help, and then who knows, take your chances. Absolutely thought this was a playoff team coming into the year, and we'll see what happens when you get to the middle of the year. Now I'm starting to wonder if they're ever going to get there. I'm going to give you some numbers, both as it pertains to the pitching staff and the offense, that should scare you. For example, Garrett Crochet won yesterday. The Red Sox are now 2-1 when he pitches. When he doesn't pitch, they're 6-8, including losing 2 out of 3 to the White Sox. They have played poorly for much of this season, if not all of it. Outside of opening day, when I thought they played a pretty good game and it was a clean game, they really have not played well. Their run differential now is 0. In other words, they project to be pretty much a 500 team again. And I think there are some metrics out there that really give you an indication that what they are on paper is not very good, and certainly not a playoff team. So before I get to your calls, because again, that is my question to you. And I know what many of you are going to say, it's early in the season, but it's all we have to gauge them on at this stage. They have now played, tonight will be their 16th game. It'll be 10% of the schedule. If you think of it in those terms, game 16 is 1/10 of the season. So yes, there's a lot of baseball left. But Jimmy Stewart, I want you to be completely 100% honest. I'm not looking for a talk radio take. I'm looking for an honest assessment. Friday night, when they lost that game 11-1, what did you think? What was your first impulse?
They're porked. They should be better than this. And right now, they might be, if not for a few breaks the right way for them, they might be in the midst of a 7-game losing streak, Tony.
So this is the part to me that I sort of feel the same way, Jimmy. I look at it and I say, I don't know if I would say they're porked, but I look at it and say, what if this is who they are? So
that's about as unprofessional a night as I've seen in a long time from this baseball team.
What if this is who they are? In other words, they've won the games that Crochet's pitched. 2 out of 3 anyway.
They should have lost yesterday, actually.
But if that happens all year long with Crochet, they'll go 20-10. Again, I said this early on.
That's not good enough.
If they go 22-10 in the 32 starts by Garrett Crochet, they will be, if they play 500 the rest of the time, that's an 87-win team. Right now, I'm questioning whether or not they can play 500. Because I look at their lineup, and again, they made 5 errors Friday night. So let me just give you this quickly. The catching position tied for first in errors in the major leagues. First base, tied for first in errors in the major leagues. Second base, they're 4th in errors.
But that number should be higher, Tony.
It should be higher because I agree. I think Campbell's gotten away with a couple, Jimmy. And third base, they're 2nd in errors. Now, you want to talk about defensive runs saved? At first base, as a team, they rank 23rd out of 25 teams in baseball. And actually, that might be individually, that might be Casas. But 23rd out of 25. At second base, they rank 25th in defensive runs saved. At third base, they rank 19th in defensive runs saved. And you want to go outs above average?
Yes.
First base, 24th out of 25. Second base, 20th out of 25. Third base, 20th out of 25. And I say 20th out of 25, it's actually 30. It just occurred to me that the screen I had showed only 25 teams, but you get the idea. Okay, the defense has been horrid. Their situational hitting has been horrid. And we used to have a caller years ago. He emails us frequently now, Matt the Stat, who used to contribute to this program. Matt the Stat now works for SB Nation or writes something for SB Nation. I don't know, are those hired positions, Jimmy, or is that like a fan site?
No, SB Nation's legit.
Okay, so Matt the Stat is...
I mean, if he gets paid, it's a legit profession.
So Matt the Stat's a great numbers guy. Wait till I give you some of the numbers on the Red Sox offense and what they've done in the first 15 games. And I said this last week. I have great concerns about the Red Sox inability to put the ball in play. I don't know how you're going to fix the problem with the strikeouts. I really don't know how that one's going to get better. We'll kick it off tonight with Sean, a regular caller in Colorado. Go ahead, Sean.
Hey, Tony. How's it going?
Good.
Just wanted to call. Just this weekend, there were some just managerial decisions that really confused me from Cora. I'm not in the camp of fire him. I think those people are way too out of it and too quick to jump that. But, I thought some of the lineup decisions this weekend were maybe a little bit confusing, per se. And, he's had to get cute with it the last couple of years because he just hasn't been given that talent to work with. But, this year they invested and got him some talent to work with. I think he needs to stop getting kind of cute with it and play your best players. On top of that,
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, I just thought some of the at-bats and the pinch hitting late, or I guess you could say the choices to not pinch hit late with, who was it? Was it Romy in a poor situation late in that, was it the second or first game against the White Sox this weekend?
So, look, here's what I would tell you about Alex Cora overall. The last couple of years, and I'll admit this, people accuse me of being a Cora protector. And I will tell you that in the last couple of years, I've done very little in the way of blaming Alex Cora. The thing I've criticized him the most about was, when he re-signed, to me, it became clear that he was working the media. And so it felt like all the messages being, relayed by the media, for lack of a better way to describe it, indicated that Cora was going to walk, and he ended up re-signing. So I thought, okay, he snookered the entire media. They believed him, and Cora was really selling him a bill of goods. So let's just take everything Cora says now with a grain of salt. But the baseball, I admit, I blamed him for very little because I didn't think he had the roster. I think baseball's generally a game decided by players. Okay, it's one-on-one matchups. It's not schemes for the most part. It's and I'm not telling you don't have hitting philosophies and pitching philosophies, because you do. But I generally have refrained from blaming Cora. Well, what do you do now? The manager's got to take some of the heat for this. They've changed the personnel or upgraded the personnel. They still can't play defense. They can't get it right. And their situational hitting is atrocious. So if this keeps up, somebody's got to go. Either the hitting coach or, I don't want to say the pitching coach, but I do think the starters in the rotation other than Crochet have lacked any sort of buzz. They were better the last time through. Certainly Buehler was. Houck was. Houck goes again tonight. We'll get a better look there. But if this continues along the path it's on, I think the Red Sox need to do a real examination of what's going on internally, because they suck. And when I say they suck, they're 8-9, but the quality of play smells. It's not good.
No, Tony, that's not the front office's fault. They're expected to be better than they are, and that's what we go by. The numbers say they're expected to be better on defense. Sadly, they're not, because the players might blow.
Okay, so again, Jimmy,
it's expected numbers. It's not actual numbers. Remember, this is expected numbers, not actual scoreboard numbers. There's a difference. We're smarter than you with our expected numbers.
But, Jimmy, I would also tell you that I don't think Tristan Casas has improved defensively in 3 years.
He hasn't, but he's expected to improve.
Christian Campbell is not ready to play second base in the big leagues defensively.
Which is why he's in center field, and he's expected to be better, Tony. See, you got to think of this as expectations, expected numbers, not actual numbers.
Ceddanne Rafaela keeps making stupid mistakes in the outfield. So I see some of the same mistakes, and let alone the at-bats with men in scoring position. The Red Sox struck out 29 times again over the weekend. Now, that's less than 10 a game. Call that progress if you want. So 9 2/3 strikeouts? That's okay now?
Yes.
So we'll start there. We'll get to some other things. Cora, I think, is frustrated. He's certainly trying to stay patient.
Why? It's his game plan.
But I would also tell you that he is trying to avoid panicking because he wants to keep his team level, which is what managers do. But on the inside, there's no way that Cora can be happy about what he's seeing on the field. So, 617-779-0985. 98.5 is
Are you
number.
panicking, Maz?
We'll get to your calls when we come back.
spells, or is it just a one-off?
Not really. It's a horrible night. We know it. Everybody knows it there, and it's a horrible night in every aspect of the game. We didn't play well, and they know it. We know it. I know that. So, you just got to show it tomorrow and win again.
So again, that's Cora from Friday night. And I know what a lot of you are thinking. Well, wait a minute. They won yesterday. See, this is what the Red Sox would say, or, if you're covering a team. Well, we just won. You're still talking about a game 3 days ago. Yeah, that's right, I am, because you lost 2 out of 3 to one of the worst teams in baseball. So what, that's a reason to celebrate now? I do wonder whether or not this team gets it, and whether or not they have the kinds of players who look at it and go, this isn't good enough. I think Bregman gets that. I don't know about the rest of them. Does Casas get it? Campbell doesn't know any better. He just got here, and I'm not picking on him. He's a rookie. Trevor Story's never won anywhere. Jaron Duran has played really well last year, but again, he's not exactly been a member of a winning organization since he joined the Red Sox. Ceddanne Rafaela, I don't know if he gets it. Abreu, he was in Houston. He might get it. Who knows? They have the catching stinks. 2 more catcher's interference calls was that Friday night, Jimmy? Or was that was Friday night?
That was Friday night.
Yeah, that was part of the 5 errors. So 2 more catcher's interference. And I told you before the season, watch out for the catching position. They're weak there. They've been atrocious at catcher. And we haven't even gotten to the offense yet, which we'll get to next segment. But we will get to your phone calls as promised. I just ask because a lot of you are lined up. Please get to the point quickly so we can get to as many people as possible. Anthony's in the car. Anthony, go ahead.
All right. Thanks, Tony. Hey, Jimmy. You had me cracking up that last segment. That was awesome. The expected runs. At any rate, I'm not going to talk about the errors. The errors, as Felger would say, go straight up my tailpipe. Everybody knows that. What kills me is the offense. I think it's philosophical. I know it's only 10% of the season, as you said in the last segment, but I think it's philosophical. And the longer they prolong addressing this issue, the longer it's going to go on. This team has too much talent. There's too much talent here.
Well,
it's got to be philosophical. It's got to be philosophical with the offensive approach, Tony.
So, Anthony, maybe. I also wonder about the number of strikeouts they have in their lineup to begin with. So I said this to you before. Jaron Duran strikes out a crap ton. I mean, for a leadoff, he struck out 160 times last year. Now, look, again, Tyler Milliken goes by the percentages. And I will admit that I have not adapted to the modern game. Okay, so in other words, Tyler and I looked this up on Friday, and I don't know how many people heard this, but back in 2004, the average strikeout rate at Major League Baseball was about 17%. Now, it's in the, call it 23, 24% area. And that rate is what someone like Sandy Koufax had for his whole career. So do you understand the difference in the game overall? Strikeouts happen a lot more now than they did 20 years ago. And I admit, I see the strikeouts now and say, this is way too many. The Red Sox look at 29 strikeouts in the White Sox series and say, well, that's acceptable. I don't. So philosophy is definitely part of it. It's not just them, it's the whole game. Definitely part of it. But Duran strikes out, Rafaela strikes out, Abreu strikes out, Story strikes out a ton, Bregman, no. Campbell, no. Casas strikes out a crap ton. Wong strikes out a crap ton. So these guys never put the ball in play. It's a big problem. Fundamentally, they kind of stink. Andrew's in Walpole. Go ahead, Andrew.
Maz, Jimmy, thanks for taking my call. Listen, I don't know where to start, but the one thing that's really grinding my gears is first base, all right? I know we gave up 2 runs in the first inning on Friday night, but it didn't have to go down 4-0 by second, third inning with Casas making 2 errors at first base that early in the game. I disagree with the last caller. I understand where they're coming from, but when you lose by 11, it's not the offense, it's the defense. I'll hang up and listen.
Okay, but that's the one game, Andrew, and I don't disagree with the notion that when you lose 11-1, it's a lot more than that. But let's not eliminate the one. This team has some hitters that you expect more from. And again, we'll get to the offense next segment because wait till I give you the particulars. Then you'll say, well, wait a minute. Also, look at how the team's built. It's built to, in theory, hit. The question is, hit who? Bad pitching? And I would argue that the White Sox should be a hittable team, but you didn't hit against them either. The Blue Jays completely shut you out. In fact, if you take out the Cardinals series, they really haven't hit at all, which, again, we will get to. Vinny in Providence, also on first base. Good, Vinny.
Tony, I can't do it anymore with this kid. This is a kid that we had to beg last year to come back from Worcester. I mean, we're begging this kid. We got him at 6. Where are we going to put him next? Where are we going to put him next? Get rid of him, get a bag of balls. He's the most selfish kid I've seen in baseball in years. It's not funny. It's not fun anymore. It's not cute. The kid does not belong on the team.
Okay, we're talking about Tristan Casas, obviously, and it's early. I doubt that they'll quit on Casas. He missed all of last year. I'd have to look up his April numbers. My guess is they're not very good because he wasn't good at the start of the year in his rookie season. So, am I ready to quit on Casas? No. But I don't think that a lot of the perception of Casas is wrong. I think a lot of the damage he's done is self-inflicted. Sit there in spring training and say third base is Rafael Devers' job when the organization clearly signed Alex Bregman to play third base. And then he says that I don't think any of the young guys should break with the team. Well, that's a great message to Christian Campbell. So Casas has clearly toned it down a little since then, hasn't said anything nearly as inflammatory. The last caller said he made 2 errors on Friday night. He only made 1, but there was a ball hit through him that he said he should have made, a play he should have made. Cora also thought it was a play that should have been made and that he's made that play typically. It was scored a hit. So has Casas been a disappointment? Yes. I would venture to say that they all have. There aren't many guys on this team that have met expectations. Crochet, pretty good. Abreu, good. Campbell, offensively, good. Outside of that, even Trevor Story, I'll give you some numbers on him later in the show. I have my doubts about Story, too, and where they're relying on him in the lineup, or where they have him hitting in the lineup, is not great if you want to see Trevor Story excel in key situations. Because I question that, too. Anyway, Kevin Majori will get you caught up on headlines here. Don't go anywhere when we come back. Those offensive numbers on the Red Sox that should concern you maybe more than the defense.
for the second consecutive day, the White Sox beat the Red Sox in Chicago. 3-2 the final.
Well, he went to the split, got off the fastball. Tough loss here for the Red Sox. And again, you out-hit them. You left 9 guys on base, 1 for 6. Not as many opportunities as you've seen before, but this was a game here. Felt like you had under control here for at least 5-6 innings.
Situational hitting, strikeouts, not being able to score. So I said earlier, we've had a listener caller for many years. He actually, I relied on him to contribute some statistics for a couple of years to the Baseball Hour. I called him Matt the Stat. He is now working for SB Nation. You can find his work on SB Nation. Matthew Gross. His latest post was there yesterday at 12:30 in the afternoon talking about the Red Sox offense. So let's play a little game. Let's just take the St. Louis series out. Okay, let's take it out. The Red Sox knocked the Cardinals all over the ballpark in that series. So they've played now, how many games is that, Jimmy? Is that 6 series they've played? So in 5 of the 6 series, we're going to throw out the one that they really dominated. They smacked the Cardinals all over the place. But let's take that out. In 527 plate appearances over the remainder of the season, if you take out the Cardinals games. So the Red Sox are 8-9. So in their other 14 games, they're batting .218, slugging .319, with an OPS of 609.
Ugh.
That is wretched. Okay, wretched. Now, I'm going to ask you to bear with me while I read you these paragraphs, because this speaks to a bigger problem in baseball, but also the Red Sox in particular, as to how offense is taught. But Matt writes, perhaps most telling is their complete inability to win games if they don't hit home runs. So far this season, the Red Sox have produced long balls in 8 games and posted a record of 7-1 in those contests. Meanwhile, in the 9 games they have not gone deep, they're an abysmal 1-8. Okay, so when the Red Sox homer, they're 7-1. When they don't homer, they're 1-8. Trevor Story hit a home run yesterday. Again, we'll get to him in a moment. They've completely sold their soul to the all-or-nothing approach, writes Matt. And while the callous calculations say that this will lead to more productivity and better overall numbers in the long haul, because this is the whole belief with analytics. Over the long haul, it will benefit you to try to hit home runs. That's what works. Matt continues, it doesn't do much good if that productivity is clustered in short stretches against pitiful pitching, meaning the Cardinals. So again, the Red Sox run differential for the season is 0. They're even. They pummeled the Cardinals, and they have been beaten by everybody else. He continues, the next great debate about proper plate approach in baseball is coming between situational at-bats versus overall numbers. Everybody is sold out to the home run to some degree. And the gory math details say you'll score more runs if you do that consistently over a 162-game season, especially when the weather warms up. Okay, that's what all the analytics are built on. However, because the formulas that now govern our lives and our sports work best when you pile up large lumps of data, it's fair to question what they're missing in significant small sample size situations, particularly when all at-bats are clearly not created equal. Does it really matter if you score more runs and post a higher OPS over the course of a season if the runs are distributed in the way the Red Sox have done so far this season? You got it? So in other words, okay, if you score 30 runs in 3 games, and in the other 7, you score only 20, is it worth it? You end up averaging 5 runs a game, but we all know that all the productivity was concentrated in those 3 games. This is what the Red Sox offense is. And just quickly, as an aside, I looked this up a second ago. The teams that have struck out the least this season in the major leagues, and I just did this haphazardly. San Diego, they're 13-3. Arizona, they're 9-7. The Mets are 10-5. Oakland is wretched. They're 6-10. Tampa Bay, 7-8. Toronto, 9-7. Baltimore, 6-9. Texas is 9-7. Philadelphia is 9-6. The majority of these teams have winning records, is what I'm getting at. Kansas City's 8-8. But the top ones in the game, San Diego, Arizona, the Mets, all strike out the least in the sport. So you tell me, what's the right approach? You want home runs, you don't want strikeouts. I'm sorry, I don't believe that the two are necessarily wed. And again, the Red Sox are 1-7. I'm sorry, 7-1 when they homer, 1-8 when they don't. Andrew and Alston. Andrew, what do you got?
Yeah, so you and Jimmy both made comments about this in the first segment, but I think they need to really start exploring bringing up Meyer, whatever, and putting Campbell in center. Rafaela just can't hit, and I get that he's supposed to be a good fielder. You mentioned that he struggled in the field this past weekend. I don't really understand why the Red Sox signed him. I don't want to get upset at them signing people, but I just don't really see a spot for him long term.
Yeah, so look, if he doesn't hit, the defense only gets you so far, especially in center field. So Johnny Damon and Jacoby Ellsbury were not Gold Glove caliber center fielders. They were fine. You can get away with it there, and you can probably get away with it there more than you can at shortstop or second base, which obviously in the middle of the diamond, but in the infield. So Rafaela's got a hit, or it's not worth it. The thing that should concern you about Campbell in center field, small sample, I don't know if he can throw. I saw him, now it was a really cold night, so it might have just been a singular bad throw. I haven't seen enough of it. He threw one ball in on what was a sac fly. It was as bad a throw as I've seen an outfielder make in a long time. And when I say bad, I mean weak. Bill's in Texas. Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, Tony, good to talk to you. Everything you need to know about Red Sox hitting philosophy, you learned with the White Sox second baseman, Chase Mydroth. He was in our system. Look up his stats when he's in Worcester. Contact hitter, doesn't hit home runs, but he moves runners along. He broke up the no-no yesterday. We don't value guys like that. We value long ball guys, and it isn't helping us move runners along. Thanks.
Yeah, so Bill, I think there are a number of reasons they moved Mydroth. Again, they have a glut of infielders. They could afford to move Mydroth. They moved, his name now escapes me. The guy they traded to Pittsburgh that they drafted.
Nick York.
Nick York is another second baseman, had a little more power. But again, not a lot. Even so, he was blocked. Mydroth was blocked.
But, Tony, he also walked. He saw a lot of pitches, and he plays good defense.
Yeah.
Like, they could have found a spot for him on this roster, but he doesn't fit the drive line profile.
Yeah, he doesn't fit the profile anywhere, though, Jimmy. So, and
Can you imagine, though? I'm sorry, Tony. This one bothered me. And I'd make the trade, but this kid could be Dustin Pedroia. The kid that they traded to the White Sox. He could be Dustin Pedroia. Dustin Pedroia doesn't fit with the current Red Sox philosophy. That's annoying.
Well, I will tell you, though, that Pedroia, for a second baseman, hit for a fair amount of power. He had a crap ton of doubles. He barreled up a lot of balls. But if you're telling me the game is... all I'm saying is this. The game has changed. So I don't think baseball values Mydroth the way it used to. That's not just a Red Sox problem. So, and they're getting offense out of second base. So I don't have a huge complaint, and you got to give up something to get Garrett Crochet. So I'm okay with that part of it. But I will say that the strikeouts overall, when they're coming the way the Red Sox are getting them in bushels, how do you expect to score if you can't put the ball in play?
Tony, you could use a player on offense who sees 8-9 pitches in at bat. You could use that.
Jimmy, they could. No question about it. Cam and Gardner. Go ahead, Cam.
Hey, Maz. Hey, Sue. I was wondering who you guys have been the most disappointed with up to this point, and then who you guys have been the most impressed with. And on top of that, I'm really hoping for a good Houck start tonight. But, I mean, the defense needs to hold up if that's going to happen.
Yeah, so Cam, I would say, who have I been the most impressed with? I mean, it's hard to not be impressed with Campbell's offense. It's hard to not be impressed with the way Abreu was played overall. Crochet's obviously very, very good. Who have I been disappointed with? Can I go, right down the list? How about pretty much all of them? They have a losing record. They've committed 4 catcher's interference. They lead the majors in errors. They lead the majors in strikeouts. What is there really to like about the way they've played? And again, when I say the way they've played, the 1-loss record is not irreparable. They're 8-9. How's the quality of baseball?
Terrible.
I agree, Jimmy. Terrible is right. Charles in Connecticut. Go ahead, Charles.
Hey, guys. Tony, your question is, what was my feeling when I saw the score 11-1? I wanted to puke. They played like crap last year against the White Sox. They had one of the worst records against the worst team in recent history. I've seen enough of Casas. There's no more small sample of Casas, not a big leaguer, in the field or at the plate. I've never seen a guy who has such a discerning eye take third strikes like he does.
Yeah.
If there's a silver lining, Tony, it's that nobody in the American League East is tearing it up.
Okay, well, and nobody in the American League really is going to tear it up. I just don't know if the league is all that good. So I suppose that is a silver lining. But I'll tell you this, to say that Casas is not a big leaguer, I think is going too far. To me, Tristan Casas is a big league player. The question is what kind of big leaguer? Has Casas gotten better since he got to the big leagues?
No.
I would argue he's gotten worse. Now, again, the hitting, he showed flashes at the end of 2023. Last year, he was injured the whole year. His defense, I think, has gotten worse. He moved better as a rookie. Mark in Washington, I don't know if that's D.C. or Washington State, but he's calling about Trevor Story. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, just in Seattle there, Tony. Thanks. Getting on to Trevor Story, going into yesterday's game, his numbers with men in scoring position, if I'm correct, were 10 strikeouts and 2 for 18. And then when I watched the highlight of his double, which everyone's going to start talking about now because he had a good game, but that double, that should have been an out. I mean, any other right fielder would have caught that ball.
So,
go
ahead, Mark.
And instead, it was just, 2 more runs, but then he hit the homer on what I think was a slider, like you always like to call out. So
yeah, it was a fat curveball. It was a breaking ball. And I'm glad you brought up Story. There's a reason I punched up the call, because I want to get to Trevor's Story and the myth of numbers. You want to talk about hollow numbers on this Red Sox team and a guy that illustrates the problems with the Red Sox? Trevor Story is that guy. We'll explain why when we come back.
has been the man offensively today. He's driven in all the runs, and the Red Sox lead it 3-1. Single, double, and finally the Red Sox hit a home run, their first since last Sunday.
That's a big run. And a hanging breaking ball. We've seen Trevor do this now. It's his third home run and a breaking ball this year. You know he's a fastball guy. Lays off that slider down and away. He looks for the hanger. When he gets it, he doesn't miss it. That's a big insurance run for this team.
Trevor Story, third home run of the year, tied for most on the team. I said to you, I think a lot of his numbers are hollow. And look, defensively, Story's been fine. Defensively at shortstop right now is their best position in the infield. So the rest of them kind of suck. But when I look at Story, let me just tell you this. The home run he hit yesterday on the breaking ball was his third home run of the year, all of them on off-speed pitches. Okay, so this is what I mean when I see holes in guys. And I think if teams get smart, they're going to expose these hitters and your weaknesses. So Trevor Story this year, his slugging percentage against breaking balls is .762. And there's a reason for this. Tyler Milliken on the midday show. Tyler is what I would call a modern baseball fan. Someone who goes deep into the numbers. Baseball Savant has metrics on bat speed. So Trevor Story's bat speed ranks in the bottom third in Major League Baseball. His bat is slow. Why would you throw him a breaking ball? He can't catch up to the fastball. Now, and if he does, it's going to be a single. This year on fastballs, he's slugging .308. Breaking ball slugging percentage is .762. So we used to call that slider bat speed. He can hit a mid-80s pitch, and he can hit a fastball in the low 90s. Anything over that, Trevor Story's toast. And teams keep making the mistake of hanging breaking balls on the inner half of the plate, and that happens a lot in baseball because pitchers make mistakes, which is fine. But a guy like that really shouldn't be hitting higher than 6th in your lineup, maybe 7th, somewhere in there, bottom half. He'll do damage in certain situations when he gets a mistake he can hit. Fine. If he's your number 5 hitter or above, you're probably not good enough. And I don't think the Red Sox are good enough. So Story overall is hitting .308. The numbers look good. You look at his numbers for the season. .308 average, 3 home runs, 8 RBI. Pretty good. Except that when you dig further, again, all of his damage comes on hanging breaking pitches on the inner half of the plate. The rest of the time, he's done nothing. And the runners in scoring position that the previous caller mentioned, for the year, 3 for 19, 10 strikeouts. You know what happens with men in scoring position? Pitchers bear down. They know your weaknesses and they attack them. 3 for 19, 10 strikeouts. You know what he is with 2 outs and runners in scoring position? Again, nobody illustrates the flaws in the Red Sox better than Trevor Story. 1 for 8, 6 strikeouts. So they go after him. They buckle down, they bear down, and he fails. 1 for 8, 6 strikeouts. You look at the numbers overall, .308, OPS over 800, 3 home runs, 8 RBI. Trevor Story's having a good year. Runners in scoring position, 3 for 19, and he's slugging .308 against fastballs. So you tell me, is he a good player or just one that's a bit of an illusion? And I think this team right now is a bit of an illusion. Long way to go, but if they don't get their asses in gear and get their act together, they're going to look up and be 5 games under 500. We'll catch you tomorrow. Kevin Majori's got your headlines. Joe Murray's got you next.
From the 10th Year Tire Studio, the Celtics begin the defense of their NBA title starting this Sunday at the Garden.
Tatum pull up 3.
Listen to every playoff game right here.